Advertising is no longer about describing the function of a good and its inherent integrity. It is about social manipulation. It is about creating inferiority, shame, guilt, and false problems that could only be resolved by submission to purchase. I have only been in the art community scene on Twitter for the past 5 months, and yet I have seen such a dramatic change in such little time. What used to seem so loving, passionate, and caring, suddenly has become a playground for manipulation, guilt trips, ultimatums, and projections. The art community has a variety of people in the field of creativity, spirituality, openness, self-help, growth and progression, etc. And with that comes empathy, emotions, insecurity, loneliness, and other things of that sort. Most of us in the art community have a gift of empathy. Most don't even know it. If you have read any of my previous blogs, then you already know what empathy is, and you know the basis of what it means to be an empath. But if you're new here, here is the definition. Empath, a person with the paranormal ability to apprehend the mental or emotional state of another individual. Empathy is the ability to read, understand, and be in tune with, or resonate with others. As an empathic person myself, I find I have a hard time not taking on the energies, motives, emotions, and projections of others into my own energy field. Some days I go online and things flow perfectly smooth, and other days it feels like I was hit with a heavy, yet invisible ton of bricks, and for a while I just couldn't pinpoint why. However, I did notice very often that when coming across certain posts from specific accounts, that I'd feel such strong energies emanating from my phone. It started to get stronger and stronger. When I finally sat with myself and asked myself some questions, I realized that it wasn't necessarily my social anxiety making me feel this way. It was the people I had on my Twitter. I've seen and felt this before, which is why I specifically created a whole new Twitter to focus solely on my business. I recognize the egos and hidden self-agenda again. I've been treading this so carefully. I understand that business has been this way for ages. That is all that they know, and all they passed along to us. It has worked for the corporations and the big guys, but that does not mean it should stay this way. Manipulation is manipulation. I've discovered over the past few weeks that seeing some of the promotion tweets, sales tactics, extreme incentives to buy, etc., have been having an effect on me that I know all too well in my life. Quid pro quo, give and take. As someone who has finally broken free from denial, that the relationships all the way down to my own parents had mainly been transactional, that I would not be adequate, worthy, loved, or accepted unless I could fulfill a want or need for them. It just didn't sit well with me to see this kind of behavior being mirrored online. My reward for those transactional relationships were that I got to feel like I was important, needed, or part of something bigger, a family, or a community, unconditional love, and yet, sadly, it was just momentarily. I recognized a trigger within me lately. I started becoming aware of an anger deep inside. Every single time I saw one of these passive-aggressive and manipulating posts, I put myself in the perspective of a customer. Why do I feel singled out? Why do I feel inadequate? Why do I feel like I am not doing enough, and that I need to do more? Why do I feel like another person feels entitled to my time, to my likes, to my conversation, or for me to so quickly just jump into something that's new to me? Why do I feel so much pressure? There are many people in business who solely just want to get to the top. And there are those who you can genuinely sense also want to provide a wholehearted service or gift to their customers which will actually add value to their lives. Whether it be energetically, physically, or aesthetically. With all the variety of niches in art and different personalities, it makes sense that there would be a bit of competition. That is completely normal. The trouble is when that competition gets taken personal. I have witnessed people go to some lengths to get ahead of the competition, as if they do not understand the kind of behavior they are promoting and how it affects them and their clientele. Being that I am a human open to make purchases myself, I place myself as a customer and realize that I would not support that kind of energy. I feel that it is not favorable to guilt trip, shame, or use psychological manipulation as a means of incentive to get you sales. I do not like to be singled out, so I would not single out my followers by stating I will only be rewarding actives. If you truly wanted to give rewards to your active followers, you would just do it. With selfish or hidden intentions, people announce to all of their followers, even the ones who may not have time to be available 24/7, that only their active followers will get a chance to receive something from them for free. They have the expectation of a reward, and they truly feel entitled to more feedback, likes, and shares as well. Giveaways used to be open to all whom followed the entry rules, but hey, if you'd rather put pressure on and guilt trip people into buying your stuff as well as those who may have been open to do business with you, that's all you. Just understand you've now placed yourself on a crutch. With good intentions, you would understand that the good deeds will come back to you in a multitude of ways and not just limited to what that customer could do for you. You have zero expectations or entitlements. Beautiful souls fall victim to this because they automatically place them on a pedestal because of their preconceived notions of these kind of people. They have a ton of followers. They're only following 200-300 people, so they must be an idol. Then of course you'll notice every one of the yes men under their posts, which they encourage for some reason, yet half of them only respond to a select few they deem as worthy. They target people a bit more on the naive side, those who do not know much about healing crystals, energy, emotions, psychology etc., so that they can get away with these things without having a conscience. Being that I am a huge self-study researcher in the field of psychology and spirituality and also trust my discernment more than anything, I am able to bring these tendencies to light, especially so that no one takes it too personally. You feel inadequate, shameful, left out, unworthy of a response, or forgotten, not for just any reason, but because those feelings were projected onto you, premeditated or not. That was the goal, the intention. And if you have self-worth issues? Guess what the solution to resolving those emotions are? Supporting the manipulator anyway. I seems more like an ass-kissing and shaming community than it is art appreciation, and it does get pretty discouraging. The shallowness cannot be hidden, yet they believe no one can see their true colors. So many people do not understand how easily readable their own motives are, especially when there's cognitive dissonance. They are not as grateful as they think they appear to be, especially with the shallow and passive comments they love to make in the name of gratitude. They have that expectation. If their poor followers and or customers do not fulfill that expectation, then they are not of value, and that is the side of business that gets seen and felt the most, only never understood. We should, and need to do better. Why would a person even want to be seen as this kind of person? It would be perfectly fine if they'd just lay out their true intentions and motives in the first place rather than to hide them. That way people do not get guilt-tripped, or feel shameful and or left out because their favorite artist or mentor resorted to these tactics to get ahead. I'm not necessarily even a customer, and even I feel left out, disregarded, played for a fool, and manipulated into supporting someone who's resorted to guilt-tripping others. They truly think they are entitled to others' time and money. It doesn't sit well with me because I remember when I was a young teen just getting into spirituality. I remember how full of wonder I was, how exciting it was to purchase a new item that would benefit me emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. I was all over it. Art Twitter wasn't around when I was just getting into that kind of stuff, but what I do know is that I would have fell victim to these tactics myself. I also know how disappointed I would have been back then to think that someone appreciated me or acted as if they were my friend, only to discover that I was used because I had the money to spend, and was too sweet to not fall for guilt trips. And not to mention, I lacked discernment. Artists have gone out of their way to single out their own followers because they feel they are not getting the support they expected. They are falling into the trap of comparison and feeling entitled to what others have received without taking the extra steps to get there. So they go to lengths to throw in a fear factor. I saw something today basically guilt-tripping others to interact with them, otherwise they would be deleted, unfollowed. Now, back to putting ourselves in the shoes of a paying customer, aka human being with emotions. How does it feel to see someone who you have supported stating that basically, you are only worthy to be seen in my eyes if you can fulfill the expectations I have of you and when I expect it? Doesn't that sound familiar? Manipulation is manipulation is manipulation. I know so many people fall for these tactics and it's quite disappointing. If you are in the spiritual community, you should probably know better than this. Victims fall prey to the idolization they see others conforming to, and they feel obligated to be a part of your yes men group because you have placed yourself above the man. If they want to be of value, they must now place themselves below you. If your goal is to idolize yourself and have people literally worship you, rather than be open, vulnerable, and constructive, that is totally okay with me. All that I ask is to not hide under the guise of a healer in the spiritual community. It breaks my heart how many people I see in the industry of arts and the spiritual growth community get into business with healing crystals, stones, and energy healing in general, and yet they promote these toxic behaviors and business strategies. Some may say, this is just business. If that is what you believe, I ask that you read the first paragraph of this post over again, and ponder that. Some will retweet every single one of their received tweets, mostly to subtly boast. They have to make sure their competition or inactives know that they're missing out, and to project to them how well they are doing. They know it also gives customers another incentive to buy. They see other customers being retweeted and receiving all this love and likes, and they want in too. Another sale for the manipulator. This is a subtle manipulation to the minds of those who are more on the depressed side of the spectrum, those who place their worth upon likes and attention. Isn't this something we should be steering away from? As a spiritual healer and intuitive, I want to set an example to others, not enable their self-defeating habits. What is even more twisted and hard to grasp is that there's an energy that displays your motives even through your retweets. It is not hard to distinguish when someone is promoting themselves to get their art and works out to the public eye, and when someone is promoting themselves to project superiority over others, and their competition. A shift must take place. We must be open to getting into the perspective of our customers, clients, our friends, etc. Just because we do not know or care intimately about the person doesn't give us an excuse to treat them like objects, strictly for our gain.